Welcome all to the Snail Trail 4x4 podcast. If you like going off-roading in Toyotas, wrenching on Toyotas, camping in Toyotas, and maybe even poking a little bit of fun in Toyotas, and of course, hearing about how great Visine is in Toyotas, then this is the podcast for you. And you. And you. And don't forget you over there. But definitely not for those Land Rover guys. Welcome, everybody, to today's episode of Snail Trail 4x4. This is episode 368, and we have less than a week before I leave for King of the Hammers. Barely, by like a couple hours, but less than a week. Were you going to say something?
I'm still waiting to be introduced.
And joining me on today's episode, as always, Mr. Jimmy Jett. I thought you were like holding back saying something.
I held back saying a lot of things, but I wasn't going to say anything until you brought me in.
Look at you. 368 episodes of training.
Still teaching me when to speak.
How are you doing today, man?
I'm good. I'm doing well.
Nice. That's good.
Hopefully this week's a little less stressful than last week was.
Yeah, you had a lot going on last week, and it was a lot that you couldn't really do all at one time, but it was all needed to be done at one time.
Yeah. It sucks sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Sucks being popular.
That is true.
Wah. Oh man, how's life?
All right, it's going pretty good. Not a whole lot to report since the last time, but
okay,
yeah. Things are looking up.
Nice. Well, that's good. I'm glad things are always looking up. That's glass is always half full kind of thing. So
I try.
You try. Is the grass always green on the other side too?
Yeah, and you still have to mow it.
You still have to mow it? That sucks.
Yes.
What if it's AstroTurf green?
Yeah, or emo.
Emo? Yeah.
Yeah, they cut themselves.
They cut them? That'd be nice. But all right. So this is a Monday episode coming down to the end of the month here. So normally it would be not too much longer here before we announce who the winners are of the monthly giveaway. But since KOH is kind of going on and disrupting everybody's lives, the winners will not be announced until probably third week of February after everybody's back from King of the Hammers. We've got the 2 Moreflate single tire inflators. Trail inflators. That's what I was trying. I really got to come up with better names.
You do. Whoever your naming guy is at your business needs to get a better or change jobs or get fired. One or the other.
Zachary.
Oh, is it Zach?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, that'd be the problem. So anyways, we got 2 of those things for a couple of winners out there. So I'll announce those 2 winners over after King of the Hammers is over. And in order to get entered for that, you only have a few more days here. Head over to this really nifty, neat website called irate4x4.com. Has it's like a forum board thing with this lots of really cool information on there.
Especially Toyota stuff.
Yeah, much more Toyota stuff than any other things, especially Jeeps.
Oh yeah.
Just like to point that out.
Yeah. Jeep people don't really talk.
Or Nissan people. There's no Nissan stuff on there.
No Nissans, no Land Rovers, no Jeep stuff.
It's mostly all Toyota stuff, which is great.
Except for the Super Duty Axle forum.
Yeah, except for right. They should just rename that the Ford forum to the Super Duty Axle forum.
Austin, get on that.
Oh man. So go to irate4x4.com, head down on the homepage to the watch, listen, discuss section, and Snail Trail 4x4 is right there. Just click on it.
Right on the top.
Right on the top, because it's the best. Click on it, and then you'll get sent over into the Snail Trail 4x4 forum. And on a computer, right-hand side, mobile device, bottom, that's where all your sign-up options are for the giveaway. Gift boxes when those open up in April. The $5 tier, which gets you access to the private forum and the Facebook page, and tokens 6 months earlier than everybody else. It essentially makes you half peasant.
Yes.
Being in the $5 tier.
Yep.
You're not a full peasant anymore. You're half peasant now. So.
Yeah, you've been slightly upgraded.
Yes. Yeah. So yeah, check that out over at irate 4x4, and we'll get the winners out to you guys late February here. So
yeah, late mid-February.
Yep. Let's see. What else do we got? I have an update or a correction, I guess.
Oh.
Update correction.
From what?
Our last Monday episode.
Okay.
We recorded that episode was it the morning of?
Yeah, the morning before the announcement, when Dave got on to announce everything that's happening with KOH.
Yeah, the KOH live preview that Dave Cole does. And I had pretty good sources saying that the shootout was going to be at Backdoor this year.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to name any names on my sources. You know who you are. But apparently Backdoor is going to be closed off all week long. So, and that's a decision based from BLM. BLM is going to be patrolling it. So, which means the shootout is not happening at Backdoor.
Nope.
It's going to be across the lake bed over at Chocolate Thunder.
Oh.
And I always forget the name of that. The big obstacle right next to Chocolate Thunder.
I don't know.
It was, I'm pretty sure they're using the same place that was there the first year we went as media and got to sit up on the hillside.
Yep.
And watch the shootout from there onto the hillside. So anyways, that's where the shootout is this year. And Backdoor don't plan on having any backdoor action at all this year, apparently.
No, that's unless you like going against what BLM says.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. In which case you're going to have to take up your argument with BLM.
Yeah. Not us.
Not us. So that was that. So let's see here. What else do we got? What else?
Well, do we want to announce what we're giving away for February?
Not yet.
Okay.
We still haven't, I think we're still down at 2 options.
Okay. So on Thursday, possibly?
I think on Thursday, once somebody is back from their trainings.
Back in town.
Yeah, back in town. We'll be able to get everything confirmed with him. So, and then we'll have him on, I think. You think we can get him on before KOH?
We'll see. We can try.
Try to see if he's back in town. Anyways.
Yeah.
February is going to be a really cool month. A fun announcement coming we've been teasing about for a while now. So hopefully everyone's looking forward to it. I'm definitely looking forward to it.
I am as well.
Yep.
Some good stuff for the podcast listeners and hopefully hosts.
Yep. Yep. So that's going to be fun. February will be good. January is coming to a close here. So make sure you guys get in before the end of the month for that giveaway. Gift box is coming up in April. So roughly 60 days ish before it opens up. So put that on your guys' horizons. And I think that's about all I got, man.
Yeah, I think that's good.
Yep. All right. Let's head on over then. We have one more Hammers prep episode here before KOH gets underway here. And this one's going to be kind of fun. So it's a kind of a slightly different take on it than what we've been able to find has been done before.
Yeah, somewhat. I think a lot of people talk about this, but they aren't going to discuss it in the way that we prepared.
Yeah. Cool. I like it. So without further ado, let's take a quick break. We get to hear from Brian now officially. So we'll get to hear a little bit from Brian about 4-Wheel Underground, and then we'll be right on back with today's campfire discussion.
At 4-Wheel Underground, we don't do DIY kits. With 26 years of experience, we've designed and engineered suspension geometry for maximum performance and predictability on and off-road, so that you don't have to. Check out 4-Wheel Underground to find the best engineered Toyota suspension solutions at 4wheelunderground.com.
Oh, welcome back, ladies, gentle ladies, everybody out there, to today's campfire discussion. We had last Monday, we got to talk about things to do while you're down at KOH. For the first time person, never been before, what are some things that you should kind of put on your list? And like, if the opportunity comes up, yeah, go crash a party. If the opportunity comes up to take rides in Chocolate Thunder, go
do it.
Do it. Take a ride in Chocolate Thunder. That sounds fun every time I say it. And especially now that I've listened to the full KOH shit show podcast with the 4 podcasts.
Oh yeah.
The entire episode was just us finding ways to say Backdoor and Chocolate Thunder.
Pretty much. Yeah.
And make fun of Nissans. So
That was such a bad and great episode all at the same time.
It really was.
The assistant listened to a good chunk of it with me.
Really?
Yeah. And she's like, there are so many one-liners that you guys need to turn into t-shirts.
There was one, I don't remember which one it was. It was near the end. Somebody said it and I just started laughing. Like the rest of the time I was kind of giggling and chuckling here and there, but I just started laughing uncontrollably at it.
Okay.
I can't remember what it was now.
The assistant really laughed hard when you said, when they were going around the room and they asked everybody, why'd you get into podcasting?
Uh-huh.
And you said, for the chicks.
Oh, and then everybody went quiet.
And then you said, but all I got was Jimmy.
I missed the all I got was Jimmy part. That's funny.
She just started laughing.
That's pretty good. I pat myself on the back sometimes.
Right.
Oh man.
I regret everything I said in that episode except for the things about Nissans.
Yeah. Okay. I liked your comment about rolling dice in the yard.
Yeah. Or putting tread in the dirt.
Or putting tread in the dirt. Yeah. All your cliches you kept coming up with. Oh man. Anyways.
Swinging a dead cat. Sorry, Jason.
Hit somebody who was if you swing a dead cat. I still don't understand that one at all.
Neither do I.
I'm like,
no.
Okay. Anyways, so if you haven't listened to the Shit Show podcast, go back and listen to it. It was from last Friday.
Yep.
It's the bonus episode. So it doesn't have a number. Bonus episode from last Friday. It's worth a listen. Probably best not to have the kiddos around though.
Probably not. Yeah. A lot of profanity, a lot of innuendos. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like it would be like 365.5 episode.
Yeah, something like that. So fun episode. So we did that one. We got to talk about what to do at Hammers. And this one is going to be kind of a slightly different take on it of things you should consider bringing.
Yeah.
That are not obvious.
Right. That we kind of wanted to talk more about items that aren't the easy items to discuss.
Yeah.
Right. Like, you need to bring food.
Yeah.
You need to bring water, maybe some booze.
Do I need to bring underwear?
You should know about what clothes to bring. And that the seasons are all over the place down in the desert during this time. And it's going to be, you have the options of it being super hot to super wet to super cold. And, even one of the years we were out there was snow on the ground.
Yeah.
These are things that you pretty much always know.
Yeah, pretty much like, it's going to be desert camping, right?
Right.
Desert hanging out. So there's obvious stuff that you're going to bring. And Jimmy and I, we were kind of sitting down and we like to go over these topics as we come into Hammers or come into, if we go somewhere else, we start talking about, well, what are some of the other things we should be packing that I'm forgetting about here? And then we're like, we should do a podcast episode on this.
Yeah. And that's really kind of how this stemmed was we already know how to pack for a trip, but what other things do you need to pack to go down to King of the Hammers?
Yeah. Because KOH isn't your typical regular trip, right?
Absolutely.
And so there's going to be stuff that you may not think about that you're like, oh, that's probably a good idea. I should probably consider bringing that.
Right. And if we were smart when we're down at King of the Hammers, we would have wrote these things down when we saw somebody doing it, but we're not. So we rolled over these ideas just here a little bit ago and we're going to recite them to you guys.
Yeah. So we have a list of 13.
Yeah. Plus or minus some
13 or so items that we've come up with that are like, yeah, this is really nice to have when you're down there that you may not really think about when you're thinking about packing for a trip down to a deserted lake bed near Los Angeles, San Bernardino. So let's see, man. Where should we kick this off here?
Do you want to just start at the top and work our way down of random things that in no particular order except for the way we wrote them?
Yeah, I think that's yeah, sure. I like it.
All right.
All right. So I think the first thing on the item list here, which is something that I think, in my opinion, is the most important item.
It's definitely up there for sure.
If you're going to be going down to King of the Hammers for more than 2 days, this is the most important item you bring. Chapstick. It is so dry in that lake bed. There's constantly some sort of wind. If you get a day with dead wind, it's rare down there. You're usually going to have some kind of breeze, slight breeze going. And being down in that dry environment with the sun out too, the first thing to dry up and start cracking and peeling, which then gets super painful and creates for a terrible rest of your time down there, is your lips.
I agree.
Yeah.
It's amazing how fast they dry up in a way. I mean, and if you don't have chopstick, it's a little bizarre and odd to ask your buddy to borrow their chapstick.
Yeah. Hey, do you mind if I borrow this? I'll give it back in 5 minutes.
Yeah. I need to apply it to my lips.
Yeah. Yeah.
And one of our good friends and booths does supply chapstick out there.
They
Yokohama has their lip smacker flavor chapstick. That's what the assistant calls it.
The lip smacker flavor.
Lip smackers.
Okay.
You remember those from back in the day?
No.
Oh, she used one of the Yokohama chapsticks once, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, this reminds me of lip smackers."
Okay.
So, anyways, it was a chapstick flavor from the 80s.
Oh, okay.
So, anyways, Yokohama, our good buddies out there, do supply chapstick at their booth, so you can always stop by and go check it out if you forgot yours. But, hopefully you remember because we're running down this list.
Yeah.
Pack chapstick.
Pack chapstick. And if you do go by the Yokohama booth, tell them that you heard from Snail Trail 4x4 that they have chapstick.
Right. And ask for Kyle and his Speedo.
Yes. Ask to get pictures with Kyle and his Speedo. That'll be great.
Right. And along the lines of chapstick, to bring some sunscreen as well.
Yeah.
Because once again, you never know what the weather is going to be like down there.
Mm-hmm.
And you definitely need to get as much sun protection on your body as you can.
Yeah, 100%. Chapstick and sunscreen, two of the most important items in my opinion, and to take down there with you. So
absolutely.
I end up trying to take one thing of chapstick. So I have one in the truck, one in the 4Runner, one in my backpack, one for my pocket, and one for in the trailer. Anywhere I'm going to be, I will have some chapstick there with me.
Yeah. I usually just keep it in my pocket.
Yeah.
It's one of those items that, it's my keys, my wallet, here's a few things that
your Glock.
Yeah, exactly. The Glock and everything else that all my EDC that I have, and chapstick just becomes one of those.
Yeah. Yep. 100%. So that's a good one. I think that's one that gets talked about a lot though. So hopefully people know about it and we're not repeating to too many people out there. But if you haven't heard it before, that's the most important item. Second most important item.
Goggles over sunglasses.
So is that goggles that go over your sunglasses?
Yeah, no, that sounded kind of funny, huh? No, we both highly suggest if you're going to be out in the desert, going places, it gets brutally windy out there.
It does.
And goggles are way better eye protection than sunglasses are.
100%.
Sunglasses are great for the sun, but they do not block the sand and the wind from your eyes.
Yep.
So get a good set of goggles.
100%. And this for me was really driven home. We were out at Backdoor one night. I'm pretty sure you were out with us, and it was freaking windy down in the canyon. And I had the goggles on, so I didn't really notice how bad it was. And then I took the goggles off at one point to look at something or clean them off or something, and I couldn't open my eyes.
Right. Yeah.
It was that bad. The wind is one thing, but the wind carries all those sand particles, and you get one of those into your eye and you're in for a really terrible night, really terrible day. Take goggles.
Yeah. Goggles are great. Even for just driving around on the lake bed and you have the window down, it's just, there's all these sand particles in the air. And, it's you might look a little silly driving around in a cab of a vehicle with goggles on, but man, it saves your eyes.
Yes, it does.
The bonus item on this section here is eye wash, some sort of Visine, some sort of saline of some sort, something to wash your eyes out with. If you do get grime in your eyes, it's great to have something to be able to clean your eyes out with besides just water.
Yeah. An eye wash kit, some sort of saline solution eye wash kit is going to be phenomenal to use, and the evening time before you go to bed. There's so many times I've woken up in the morning and just my eyes are crusty with gunk, just because overnight your body is washing your eyes out while you're sleeping, and you just get tons of shit caked around your eyes and it's like hard to open your eyes in the morning. That sucks. And so I think an eye wash kit is something I'm adding to my packing this year.
Yeah.
I'm definitely adding eye drops this year.
Okay.
Just something because it's kind of like the chapstick for your lips. Just being out there dries out your eyeballs and your eyelids can't keep up with it. And so just having some eye drops to throw in twice a day, whatever it is, that's something else I'm going to be adding to my packing list this year.
Right. No, that's it. That's a great advice. Before you go to bed, how do you clean your eyes and face up?
I use, now that we have a trailer,
right.
But if you're car camping down there, or if God forbid I don't want to say God forbid, it's not terrible, but if you're tent camping something, you don't have running water, baby wipes for sure. Just being able to clean off your face and clean off the other parts of your body without having to take a full shower. If you don't have running water, you don't have access to the running water, baby wipes are a great way to just kind of get the dry dust off of you before going to bed and kind of shutting down for the night.
Yeah, I really like to use the baby wipes. I get skin friendly ones, not some chemical Clorox ones or whatever. But you can give yourself a decent wipe down everywhere on your body.
Yep.
So that you're not feeling totally dirty, totally grimy the next day. You know, we've joked about it that it's a hippie bath or the horse bath, but it really, I mean, it does help immensely if you don't have a shower.
Pretty much everybody down there during Hammers Week is a hippie anyway. So
kind of rock crawling, off-road hippie style people.
Yeah. I really like them as well for just having around before you're eating meals too. Cause your hands are just going to get dirty down there. They're going to get dirty. Yeah. They're going to get dusty, and being able to just kind of clean off your hands real quick before you have your dang brother's pizza. They're great.
This is another item Tyler carries around in his backpack.
It is. I do. I carry baby wipes in my backpack down there.
Absolutely.
Yep.
The next item down is a non-hat sun protection.
Yeah. So this one came to me last year because last year I was dependent on a hat. I had like a floppy hat that was like a gardener's almost hat or something like that.
Right.
With a chin strap on it. And even with that being a floppy hat, it was still difficult to keep on my head.
Yeah, absolutely. I love to, especially while I'm out wheeling, I like to rock like the almost sombrero style straw hats.
Yeah.
And boy, do they suck out at King of the Hammers.
Technically, I think they blow.
Well, that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
They blow off my head.
Yes, they do. Because the wind is so strong down there. And so you're always got wind. You're always going to be fighting wind. That's probably the number one thing you're going to fight down there at all the times. And so having sun protection for your face, but not having a bill that can catch in the wind and fly off your head, not having to worry about that, is something that I found last year I needed to plan for this year. I'm going to take a balaclava with me.
Okay.
So I have a couple of them. One is a cold weather one, and one is kind of a medium weather kind of thing. But I'm going to take both of those with me, and that'll help keep the sun off of me without having a big sail that'll catch in the wind and constantly fly off.
Yeah, those are great. And, you know, King of the Hammers has some of those just neck gaiters as well. Good those work great as well. But it doesn't really protect the top of your head so well. So, even having a few of those might be beneficial to one extent or another. But I know that another extent is with all that dust and grime flying through the air, your hair gets super dirty too. If you are just leaving it exposed to the elements. So protecting your face, protecting your head, your hair, just covering up as much as you can is really a benefit. And another one of the things that kind of goes right in line with this is that, and sort of another little bonus item is UV protection clothing.
Oh, that's a good one.
Right. And it's just, you're going to be out in the middle of the desert. It might be a beautiful day, but it's probably to your advantage to wear like a thin UV protectant long sleeve shirt, because now you're not getting sunburnt. You're protecting your skin and your body out from the elements, and it's pretty lightweight and breathable. So it's just another one of those items to think about having. If you have it already, bring it, because it's a great item to have out on the lake bed when it's a good day.
Yep. I agree. I like it. Next one on the list here is a map.
Like a paper map?
Maybe if you're Chris.
Okay.
And that's just,
pulls out the atlas.
Yep. Pulls out the Atlas book and has to turn to the pages, has them all bookmarked. Oh man. No, I prefer digital maps.
Right.
Yeah. Because then you don't have to, fill up half of the back seat in the YJ with an Atlas. So, oh man, I'm sorry, Chris. Really not though. But, no, I like digital maps. And so, there's a lot of resources online where you can download like all of the points of interest in Johnson Valley.
Yeah.
In GPX tracks and GPX files.
Okay.
So you can take those and then just upload them, import them into Gaia, into Onyx, into whatever system you use on your phone. You can even upload them into a Google map if you want, and then download that Google map if you prefer Google Maps. But just have something. That way you know where you are, how to get back to your camp. I've gotten lost from camp down there before, for sure. And you know how to get out to everything that you want to get out to as well. And you can kind of, as you're exploring, you can mark points of interest so you can get back to it next year or later in the week or whatever it is.
Yeah. Especially like if you're going out to Remote Pit 2, you're going way out there.
Yeah, you are.
And it's, you're outside of the view of Hammertown. And you can easily get turned around and not know exactly where you're at.
Yep.
But I think one of the big things to take away from the map is download everything, including the geographical area of King of the Hammers and Johnson Valley before you go down to the valley, down to the lake bed. Because there's no cell reception down there.
I mean,
there is.
Technically there is.
Sort of. At like 3 a.m.
You'll have full bars, but you won't be able to do anything.
Yeah, but you can't do anything because there's 80,000 people, 100,000 people down there all trying to be on their cell phones also.
Yep.
And I heard they put in another antenna down in that area, or AT&T did, or somebody.
Yeah.
So maybe there's going to be better reception this year than there has been in the past. However, don't risk it.
Yeah.
Download everything before
Plan
you go.
on not having anything.
Right. So then if you ever do get in trouble and you don't know exactly how to get yourself back, you can pull up the map and get yourself home.
Yep. I think that there's going to be more people down there with Starlink this year.
I do too.
And so I'm wondering if that will lessen up the bandwidth on the cell towers in the area.
I'm wondering how slow Starlink will run.
I know, with everybody from one area using it, that'll be interesting.
I want to. Does Rodney have it?
I don't know. There's at least one person in our group that's bringing it.
I hope somebody gets down there early, and I want them to run a speed test.
Yeah.
And then like during King of the Hammers Ultra 4 race day, I want them to run a speed test, and I want to see what the difference is.
The difference is, yeah. That would be cool. I'm definitely interested to hear about the impacts too, the differences there. So there's going to be people on Starlink, which is new this year. A new AT&T tower went up. That's kind of new this year. So I think that'll help as well. But before, I want to say all that had service down there was Verizon, and it was 2 towers to cover 80,000 people in the lake bed.
Yeah.
And so really you couldn't get any service until, like Jimmy said, 2 to 3 a.m. at night was the only time you could get data.
Or the cell phone bush.
Or the cell phone bush, yeah. Yeah, the cell phone bush down there gets service from pretty much any carrier, which is, it's like the cell phone tree on the Rubicon. Somebody was smart enough to put in a cell phone transmitter there at those key little points of interest.
It also has a USB port so you can charge your phone while you're at it.
Yep. Yeah, it goes off of geothermal charging. So
exactly.
Yeah.
So the next item down on the list here is a welder. And you might not have a welder, but somebody in your group should have a welder.
Yes.
You need to see if if somebody in your group has a welder, just tell them to bring it. There's going to be carnage. Everybody's going out wheeling. We're all having fun. You might not need the welder for your rig, but you would probably need it for somebody in your groups or even somebody around your campground.
Yeah.
Might need to use the welder.
Yep. Yeah. I've been lucky. I don't think I've used my Premier any of the years I've taken the 4Runner down there, but I do know that every year we've gone, there's been multiple situations where people in our group needed a welder at some point.
Oh, sure. Absolutely.
So if you're planning on going down there and going out adventuring around the lake bed at all, somebody in your group should have a welder.
Yes. Yeah, I agree.
And if you don't, then figure out where the Rough Stuff booth is and make friends with them and bring them beer all week long.
Yep. Yeah. I don't know if Rough Stuff's going down this year. I hope they are, but usually they do.
Yep.
And I think they missed actually 2020. It was the only year I think they missed.
Yeah.
And they offer the service of repairing pretty much anything that they can repair out on the lake bed. They make this huge workshop area out on the lake bed and will repair nearly everything.
Yeah. It's really impressive.
Can get it to them.
Yep.
They will do their best to fix it.
Yeah. It's really impressive what they do down there with, I think they bring down 4 or 5 220 welders and have it all set up off some pretty big generators and have a couple trailers if you need to get it off of the ground in order to weld on it or something. It's really impressive what they do. So if you can get your vehicle to them, that'll work too.
Yeah.
So
cool.
Yeah, I think it's a good one. Welders. What are a couple of good welders just to help out our buddies out there that you can get that are portable and take with you?
Well, I would definitely consider a bun trail welder, which is a good one.
That's probably going to be your lowest price point one. I'm pretty sure they're in stock right now. So if you got one, you could probably get it before hammers.
Wow. Yeah, that'd be great. The bun trail welder works on batteries that you would pull out of your vehicles, 2 to 3 batteries to make them work the best. So you're going to have to pull those out, hook them. I always mix this up. Hook them in series.
Yep.
Okay.
Good job.
Hook them in series. And then you can use a spool gun to do some MIG welding.
Yep.
Another option is a carnage welder. Those are a great one as well. Those are a MIG welder and the battery's built into the suitcase.
Yeah.
And so it's very portable. You don't have to pull batteries. Works just like a regular MIG welder. And then I think the other main one is a Premier Power welder.
For the most part, yeah. I don't know if those are in stock, ready to go, and you can get one.
Probably
probably won't be able to get one and install it before hammers. So
no.
The main thing I was thinking of is the portability of the bun welder and the carnage is super, super nice to get. And I know bun welder is going to be down at King of the Hammers.
Yes, definitely.
So you might be able to give them a call and see if they would bring some with them. They'd probably do that for you guys. They're really cool people. So
actually, I'm second guessing if they're going.
They told me they were going.
Okay, they're probably going.
I don't think they have a booth.
Okay, but maybe that's what it was.
I'm pretty sure they're going to be down there. Yeah. So I think they're over going to be camping with Ozzy.
Oh, and the Wicks.
And the Wicks.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, get in contact with the buns and see if they'll bring one down for you. I don't know if Joe is coming down. I haven't heard yet.
It's not far to drive to Vegas.
It's really not. So we need to get in contact with Joe and at least I need to go wheeling with him or something while he's down
Well,
there.
What we need to do is we need to get Joe to come out and hang out with Austin.
Yeah.
And get the 2 Unimog guys together.
Yes. Oh man, can you just see them bromancing through turkey claw together?
Oh yeah, that'd be hilarious.
Oh man. Anyway, so hit up Bun Trail Welder. I know they're going to be down there. I'm not sure about Joe and Carnage, so hit them up. I'll also try and figure that out for everybody. So let's see, Welder. Yeah. What else do we got on our list over here? So the next item on the list is one that I wasn't quite sure about. And then once you brought it up, I realized I literally had this conversation with somebody earlier today. And it's an easy means to get around.
Yeah, an easy means to get around down on the lake bed.
Yeah.
Right? Because a lot of us will be let's say I'm towing with Clifford and I'm towing Bobcat down. Right? And then I have Bobcat to get around. And that's an easy means of transportation to get in and out, go out and see Chocolate Thunder, go to, see some of the race out and about, go down to Hammertown. If I'm not going to walk, that's an easy mode of transportation. But what if I'm taking Charlotte with my rooftop tent and I park it up at Hammertown Heights Estate, whatever they call that place.
Hammertown Heights Estates.
Hammertown Heights Estates. And I don't want to pack up the rooftop tent every time. Yeah. Like, what am I going to do to get around? Right. And so that's kind of that's what made me think about it.
Yep.
Right. But you did just have this conversation with somebody else.
I did. Ben from Descent Offroad was over showing me the Sequoia, which we'll go over in a future episode here shortly. And he's going to have the Sequoia is going to be down in the Rigid booth the entire week. And so he's like, I don't want to drive my F-250 on 40s around everywhere. I mean, what else should I take? And I was like, I don't know. He goes, I mean, we have a couple of dirt bikes we could take. I was like, that's actually a really good option. Our buddy Tony, who just got a Land Rover and who we had on the podcast here through a phone call, has a little electric dirt bike, electric motorcycle bike thing.
Yeah.
And he took it down there and it was really freaking handy having that down there. He was able to scoot around wherever he wanted, super easy, didn't have to park it. He was able to walk it into Hammertown. And it actually had a lot of people asking to ride it too.
Oh yeah. Well, it's super fun too.
Yeah, exactly. And so that I was like, yeah, no, totally. Like bringing some kind of little mini, small motorized bike of some sort is a fantastic way to get around the lake bed. Because the other big thing is if you are going to go traveling on the lake bed, or say you want to go out to Chocolate Thunder to watch a shootout or something, you've got to get in the line with all the other vehicles. And whereas if you have a bike, a dirt bike, whatever, motorized bicycle, two-wheeled vehicle, single track item, you can just scoot around all the vehicles and go.
Yeah.
The downside to that is you really need to be aware of the vehicles around you because vehicles will not be watching for you.
Yeah. I think most people on motorcycles realize that you have to be a super defensive driver or rider at that point. But I think the point of this is if you already have a vehicle that you're taking down there that you're going to plan on driving around, okay, that's good. But what about those people that are planning on driving that RV, right? How you need to think about how are you going to get around easily? And a motorcycle or an e-bike, are way better than a bicycle. Yeah. Like I would almost not suggest anybody with a bicycle to go out and about and ride down the roads. It seems like damn near impossible and very dangerous.
Yeah. There's sections of the dirt out there that are really loose.
That's true.
And a bicycle is going to suck to try and bicycle through those sections.
I don't picture somebody trying to ride their bicycle to Chocolate Thunder. I'm picturing them more like riding their bicycle down the main road to get to Hammertown. Yeah. And I still just don't think that's a good idea.
I agree.
Right. And some of these places are far to walk. So you really need to think about, how do I get around? What do I need to do to get around? What do you have available to you to get around? Maybe it's a unicycle. Go unicycling. Who knows?
Segway, hoverboard.
Yep. I actually won a lot of one wheels.
There were a lot of one wheels out there for sure. Yeah, that is a good one. I always wanted to get a one wheel.
They're fun.
Oh yeah. I've never gotten to use one before.
I've ridden one before and the assistant was shocked that I was able to pick it up so fast. Like, oh, come on.
Well, I'd just bend down and pick them up. Is that not how you pick them up faster?
Yeah, ride it.
Okay.
Yeah. The next one here is sort of a day-used cooler.
This is a good one I hadn't considered until you brought it up.
And so really the point of this is that you have a main cooler like on your rig or on the vehicle that you're driving around. And then if you're going to go to hike up a little mountain or up into the canyon to watch a race, you have a separate small cooler just for that outing really quick. And then when you come back to your vehicle to go somewhere else to watch the race, then you could refill that cooler and then go back out. So it's, it's sort of a day use or like a single hike cooler, something small that holds a
lunchtime cooler.
Yeah, a lunchtime cooler that holds a few beverages and maybe some snacks and food, something pretty light and easy to move around.
Yeah. I took this as, have your fridge, your big 50 quart fridge or your 7,500 quart dual zone fridge back at camp on your camp power, and then take drinks and put them into a little day use lunch cooler. Yeah. And, you can have that for the day in your vehicle. That's a big one for me, going out and doing recovery stuff.
Right.
And the other thing for me, I tend to chauffeur quite a few people around in the 4Runner because I have a back seat. And so like, I can't really keep the fridge in the 4Runner all the time. So keeping it back at camp on camp power worked out awesome. I just didn't have a little like day use cooler to take with me. I would just take the drinks and throw them in my back seat or something. Yeah. But I really like the idea of taking a day use cooler. Yeah. I hadn't thought of that before.
Some little soft shell, or soft cooler, soft sided cooler. It doesn't have to be a small little igloo or whatever. Yeah. Just one of those quick zip ones and you throw some quick drinks into it. And that's what you carry around for the day or for the one outing. And then you come back and refill. Yeah.
Nice. I like it. I like that one a lot. Next one on the list here is a good headlamp.
Yeah, it gets dark.
It does get dark.
There's lights all over the place. I mean, there's camp lights and Christmas lights and fireworks and all kinds of lights.
Hammertown has lights.
Yeah, and Hammertown has lights. But still, like going to your tent or going into your camper or finding your way from your camp to somebody else's camp, there's not a street light out there.
Yeah.
Right. So having a good light, whether it's a flashlight or a headlamp, it's very important to have out there.
Yeah. And I'm a big fan of having USB-C rechargeable lights.
Yeah. Rechargeable for sure.
Rechargeable for sure. And I like USB-C because it works on everything. It's a universal style plug, right?
Yeah. I like trying to streamline the plugs for the items I'm using.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm trying to get everything over to USB-C.
Nice. Yeah. I agree. I think a good headlamp, flashlight, I mean, if that's what you got, then take what you got. But there's some really awesome USB-C rechargeable headlamps on Amazon for like $15-20. Wagon Tech has a couple of really nice USB-C rechargeable headlamps now. So check out Wagon Tech, our buddies over there. There's some really good options out there for really not that much money.
Right.
And while you're walking around, it's kind of nice to have your hands free. That way you can be carrying your beverages. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's the biggest benefit of having a headlamp is that you can use your hands. One hand is not taken up by a flashlight and you're only left with the stranger or something, right? You can, having the headlamp, you can use either one of your hands.
Yeah. Cool. Next one here is firewood.
Yeah.
And this one's another one. You can get firewood down there. There's a vendor, a big one that they bring this massive pile of firewood out there for people to purchase. But if you can bring down firewood in the bed of a truck, on your trailer, in the rig you're towing, in the back of your RV, wherever you can do it, bringing firewood down here is really, really nice to do because you can't just go foraging for firewood.
No, yeah, definitely. You're in the middle of a desert. There's no trees. There's no shrubs really, and
people are going to get pissed if you take the cell phone bush.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
don't do that.
It sparks a lot too.
It does.
So fill every nook and cranny. One of the things I've done in the past is I've put Bobcat onto a trailer, but I filled Bobcat's bed with wood. Right. And then I put the stuff that I usually carry in the back of Clifford, because that's lighter than the wood was. So I put all that onto the trailer.
Yeah.
I think last year we brought down 5 pieces of wood.
I think there were 4 pieces of wood. Each one weighed like over 100 pounds.
Well, the 4 pieces of wood filled your truck bed.
It did. Yes, it did. And we ended up having to take 2 of them and strapping them onto the trailer. Right. So,
yeah. And I mean, they were just huge, gnarly. I don't even remember what type of wood they were. Oh, they were mulberry.
Mulberry? Okay.
Or mulberries. But it was like, a crotch of the tree and, a thing that, just gnarly things that you wouldn't want to split.
Yeah.
And so I brought them down and they burned for like 3 days. Like, should we throw another one on? And we're like, that one's not even halfway done burning yet.
Yeah.
And then near the end of the event, we threw the rest of them on.
Yeah.
And had a big fire party.
Rumor has it they're still out there in a pile.
Possibly still smoldering
today.
Down around Stonehenge.
Yeah. Oh, man. So, yeah, firewood is a good one to take down with you. If you're a veteran of King of the Hammers or veteran at going down the lake bed, that's one you definitely know. But that's one you wouldn't think of being new to going down there.
Yeah. And if you can just bring a little, bring it, because you're going to add to the pile. If everybody brought a little bit, then your campground's going to have enough firewood. Even if you have too much firewood, you leave it. What the heck, you don't really want to tote it back with you, and somebody will use it down there for another fire or something. Somebody will come over and scrounge it up from you. So it's just, I would say, if you can only bring a little bundle, bring it, because anything you bring down is going to help.
Yeah. Next item on the list is one that is going to be like, oh yeah, Tyler thought of this. But when I mentioned it, you said that you had thought of it too.
I did. I was just sort of waiting for you to say it.
Well, I'm going to give you the glory. What is the next item, Jimmy?
Radios.
Good job.
Yay. No, radios are a fantastic thing to have down there, especially a ham radio, because you can have endless limitations or endless options is the word I was looking for, of a channel to be on that you can communicate strictly with your friends or base camp, right? Where if you're on GMRS, you have 7 channels, 22 channels. Yep. And, you know, if you're on a race radio, all you have is race radios, you're probably on a channel that a race team is using.
Yeah. If you're down there as a participant, as a watcher, observer of the races, don't use race radios to communicate with everybody else in your group. There's probably, like Jimmy said, there will be race teams trying to use those frequencies. So let them use those frequencies. They're there to do a job. That's their business, what they're doing. Don't interrupt it. So you can bring race radios with you so you can listen in on their comms. That's always fun. But if you want to talk to the buddies in your group, bring GMRS or FRS radios or MERS radios or ham radio.
Right.
Yeah.
And I like the ham radios just because you really do have endless options
you have a lot
finding
more.
A channel or a frequency that nobody else is on.
100%. Yep.
Right. And they're usually a higher power, so you can transmit farther to try to get a hold of your friends.
Yep. One thing that I'm going to do this year is I'm going to try and set up an APRS digipeater with my repeater up on Fisher.
So you can see when somebody takes it?
No, so it's a digipeater. So it takes all the APRS signals and repeats them.
So you're going to put an APRS thing on somebody's race car?
No, just on mine, on my car. I think Lee Lim will have his on too most of the week, and we'll be able to see how many people down there are actually using APRS, I think.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah. In the past, I don't think APRS signals really get out and go anywhere. I don't think there's enough digipeaters in the area. So we'll be able to set up an APRS repeater for the lake bed. And so people can, run APRS while they're out exploring or out having fun, and people back at base camp can know where they are.
Yeah, that'd be good as long as they know how to research it.
Yes, as long as they know how to use it. Yep.
But that'd be kind of neat. But going back to it, I mean, just, get yourself a good little handheld. Make sure you're using it properly.
Yep.
And they are by far the best way to communicate down there.
100%. Next on the list is tie downs.
Yeah, these are
extra tie downs.
Extra tie downs is really what it is.
Yeah.
And these are mainly for around camp, because it can get so windy and the gusts can get really fast. If you have any sort of awning or easy up or like we have our camp kitchen, just bring extra straps, extra rope, extra stakes to lash everything down. If you're in a tent, man, I would be using every single guideline that's available on that tent to lash that thing to the ground so that it doesn't fly away.
And try and position yourself between RVs.
Well, 100%.
Yeah.
You gotta be on the leeward side of that one for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, any sort of tie downs, even ratchet straps, anything to help hold the things you have outside down to the ground.
One thing, and I did this last year with our booth in Hammertown, was I took extra 5-gallon buckets, went out to the desert. You and me filled them up with sand.
Yeah.
So that each one weighed 50 pounds.
Yeah, they're pretty heavy.
They were heavier than I was anticipating. And we brought them back and tied the pop-up awning, the pop-up tent.
The easy up.
Thank you. To the buckets. And that was, I think, saved my easy up for the week.
If you want to weigh it down even more, then you fill that sand up with water.
Oh yeah, that's true. Put water in it too. Extra lashings, paracord, extra rope. Ratchet straps, 500-pound ratchet straps actually work pretty well, one per corner. And they're easy to readjust as you need them to readjust. And then stakes to put in the ground. I've seen big old curly Q spike. I don't know
where you're going.
Auger style spikes that you can drill into the ground with an impact.
Yeah. Those are cool.
Those work really well out there too. Yeah. Bare minimum 5-gallon buckets are cheap and easy, and the sand to put them in is very prevalent out there.
Yeah, it is. You might have to go a little ways out of Hammertown because it's usually dry as a bone there, but get yourself out and you can dig something up.
Yep.
The next one we have is just ear protection, something to help you sleep at night. Right?
Yeah.
Because it can be loud and crowd all night long, fireworks till 3 a.m. People
Rowdy.
screaming and yelling, engines going off, right?
Ultra 3 races.
Oh yeah, exactly.
We were right across the street, quote unquote street, from the Ultra 3 races last year. And it was just loud all night long.
Oh yeah. They were having a good old party that you could crash.
Yep. And it was great. We went over and crashed it a bunch of times.
Oh yeah.
There was a few times when Ultra 3 bikes ended up over in our camp area at nighttime at 2 a.m. But it was a lot of fun. But if you're the type of person that noise keeps you up at night, Jimmy was raising his hand loud and proud right now. Bring some earplugs.
Yes. Some sort of thing to help you sleep.
Yep.
You know, if you need some sleeping pills, some melatonin, some edibles, some sort of ear protection or earplugs, a friggin' thing that goes over your eyes to make it black, whatever they call those. You think about trying to sleep and what you need to sleep if it's the worst case scenario.
Yeah.
And then bring that because it possibly could be the worst case scenario.
Yeah.
With fireworks going off over your camper for hours.
Mm-hmm. The secretary just got some new wireless earbuds.
Okay.
That are noise canceling.
Oh, that's cool.
And I've always been like, oh, yeah, it's noise canceling. It's just going to like be like earplugs you wear in the shop or something. It's going to bring down the decibel level, like 12 to 15 decibels, something like that. It literally cancels out all the noise. I was really impressed with them.
Dang. Okay.
But so I'm kind
I
of
wonder
like,
how they would do with fireworks.
All right. I don't know, but I'm kind of like, I want to try them out, but at the same time, I know I can fall asleep in noisy environments just fine. So I'm also like, I don't need to go spend money on that.
Yeah. True.
Yeah.
I can't. I don't know if it was just being raised in the country or something, but for me, if there's noise outside, I'm awake. Like when those people that need to have the TV on to go to bed keeps me up.
Oh, I'm one of those.
Right. And so it's like, I want the TV on to go to bed. And if I'm at like, so if we shared a hotel room and we had our own beds, right?
No, we'd get one bed.
You'd need the TV on to go to sleep. And I would be there lying in bed waiting for you to go to sleep. And then I'd turn the TV off so I could go to bed. That's how it usually goes in that situation.
Is it the light or the noise?
The noise.
The noise. Interesting. You should try some of these the earbuds.
Yeah, maybe. I'm a side sleeper.
So that's another, that would be.
Yeah. So I'm not sure how that would work.
Yeah. Interesting. I was really impressed with them. So I think if noise is an issue for you at night, that might be a good investment for you.
Yeah.
Cool.
I have a bonus item.
Okay.
Cash.
To bring with you.
Everybody does take credit cards out there, especially at the gate and in Hammertown, they take credit cards but usually the signals are low, like Wi-Fi signal is low, and sometimes the connection is poor. And if you just have cash with you, it just makes a lot of the transactions a little bit easier for like food.
That's true.
I think a lot of the vendors don't really carry cash with them. They want you to pay with credit card, but a whole bunch of other, like the food place, the entrance, I don't know. There's probably other places out there. I think just having some cash on hand would make it a little bit easier. And especially if you get broken out in the middle of nowhere and somebody tows you to rough stuff, having a little cash for them is a good thing.
I was going to say a lot of times the currency that people love getting down at Hammers for helping out with stuff for favors or whatnot, like towing somebody in from Aftershock, beer.
Yeah. Beer is a good currency for sure. Bring
like just a ton of 6-packs with you or 12 packs and hand them out if you'd need to for people that are doing things for you.
Yep.
Yeah, that's always accepted. Nice. I think that's a good bonus one. Cash. I didn't think about that one.
Yeah. So, I didn't think about it until we were a few in. I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one. All right. So those are some good items.
Yeah.
Some good ideas. I know that there's, I think 2 or 3 on there that I haven't brought in the past. I'm like, I need to bring those this year.
No, that's definitely. A good reminder. And I'm sure we've missed some. So if we did miss anything and you have a good idea or a good King of the Hammers trick of something that you bring, please let us know. You can always call in area code 916-345-4744. Or you can write us, Jimmy or Tyler at Snail Trail 4x4. And we'll get those out to the public so they can hear some good tips and tricks before they start packing up to go down to King of the Hammers.
We also came up with a couple of fun items that you shouldn't bring.
Yeah. I almost wanted to see if we could figure this out, figure more of these out, and do a whole episode on things you should not bring to King of the Hammers.
I don't know if I can though. I don't know if there's a lot that you shouldn't bring.
I know that's really kind of where I was falling is like you can kind of bring whatever the hell you want.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean,
don't bring a 2-wheel drive vehicle, but I mean, even then you can still get a 2-wheel drive in just fine.
Yeah. I mean, you can get a Buick into Hammertown probably, no problem. So
if you bring a Prius, beware it might end up over at Lasertown with rockets on it.
Probably.
So just be aware of that.
Yeah, or rocket guided lasers at it.
Yeah.
One or the other.
Yeah. The one thing that I was thinking about, and I was like, because there's not really anything you shouldn't bring. But I would highly advise against bringing and depending on a grounded tent. If you're going to be there for more than like 2 nights.
Yeah.
If you're just going to be there for like 1 night, maybe 2 nights, I think a ground tent is okay. The big problem with ground tents though is you need to make sure that it is secured to the ground. Do everything you can do to tie it down to the ground, block it from wind, however you can. The thing that sucks about ground tents is you just can't get in them to get away from the wind.
Right.
That's my big issue with them.
Yeah. A lot of ground tents don't have the best wind protection.
No.
I mean, I'm sure there are some, like if I were to bring a ground tent, I would be bringing my 4-season tent because it really doesn't have windows.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I have a 3-season tent. That is a fantastic tent, but the rain fly doesn't go all the way down to the ground. So the wind could go right underneath the rain fly and up into the mesh.
Yep.
And then all those itty bitty fine little sand particles would be all over my sleeping area.
Yeah.
And it just would be horrible.
It just sucks. I did it 1 year with actually a pretty damn good tent. It was designed and rated for, I don't want to say Arctic use, but like for bad winter weather. And it withheld the wind just fine. We didn't get a ton of sand in it. The big problem I had with it though was that you couldn't just hang out in the tent during the day,
right,
and be comfortable.
Yeah, you had nowhere to get away to.
You had nowhere to get away and relax with your buddies and hang out with your buddies. There was no escape.
Correct.
And so you're just beat up all day long, every day in a tent.
Yeah, because you're outside the whole time.
Yep.
When we rented the trailer, it was nice to be able to just go in the trailer and sit down and
for like 20 minutes.
Take a breath, and just like, oh, okay, I'm out. I'm not in the sun. I'm not in the wind. I'm not getting pelted by sand. I can breathe. I can have a quick drink and I can go out and do it all over again.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. I think I've taken the rooftop tent a few years and it does very well. But I think the main reason it does so well is the canvas is fairly thick.
It's a thick tent. Yeah.
And you can literally close all of the windows.
That's nice. Yeah.
So that no sand and stuff can really get in. Right. There are flaps on the inside of the tent that I can zip everything closed.
Nice.
So that, the mesh, is on the outside of the tent, but then the flap is closed on the inside of the tent.
Yeah.
So I think that's one of the best answers for if you're going to tent it. I might consider something like a rooftop tent. I don't know about the Gazelle. The Gazelle would probably be. It's too tall.
It's too tall, and the walls are too big.
Enough.
It would be secure enough if you tied it all down. You would need a lot of tie down because each of the walls as well that you pull out has an eye bolt on it. So you could technically take that eye bolt and put tension all the way down and
tether it down.
It down. The big problem with the Gazelle is that the walls are so big that they catch wind and then it collapses the tent.
Right.
So you would have to tie down every wall. You'd have to tie down the rain fly and get it all secure. It would take 10 to 12 lines,
right?
Guy lines in order to secure a Gazelle out there, I think.
Right. And we kind of hinted at it and talked about it in another section previously, but if you are bringing a ground tent, like position yourself in the spot that would get the least amount of wind.
Yes.
Behind an RV, right? Or tucked between 2 RVs or lashed down next to a tent or a truck that's not moving or something, put yourself, you might not have the best ground position, but you're going to at least not have your tent halfway across the lake bed.
Yeah, exactly. You're not going to go wind up at Turkey Claw in the middle of the night rolling around. Yeah, no, I think that's a good thing. And I don't want I don't want necessarily people to not come down because that's all they have is a ground tent. Just if you have something, a different option, take that other option.
Yeah.
But if a ground tent is all you got, nothing wrong. I mean, it'll work. You can make it work. It'll just might be a rough time if you're there for an extended amount of time.
Go back and listen to our 12th item on the list, which is extra tie downs.
Yes. Right. Cool. So what's the other item on the list here for the fun you should not bring to King of the Hammers?
Well, I'm sure that this item, it was a joking item on our end, but I think it depends on the person and who you are and who your wives or your kids are, which we're joking to don't bring your wife and don't bring your kids, which could be true in many cases. And probably some cases is, the wife and the kid would enjoy it just as much as us. Yeah. But in our case, our case,
we're definitely, I don't think ever going to bring the significant others down there.
No, probably not.
Oh man. Anyways. Yeah, that was definitely more of a joking one, but then we were like, that's kind of true for us.
Right.
So, I don't know. There's not a whole lot else that you shouldn't bring down there. I think it's that's kind of the allure of Johnson Valley and this event is that you kind of get to come down, and as long as you're respectful of other people around you and understand what the culture is that you're getting into, it's kind of like anything is really, there's nothing that's off the table.
No, it's a great opportunity for you to show off your build. Drive it around, drive it up and down the main drag and, show things off. The big Willys comes out with his big old monster Jeep and shows it off. If you're just down there to watch the race, then, you don't need to show anything off, then just, claim a spot, find some friends. I think that's one of the best things is there's probably, somebody that's probably going down.
Probably.
Right. That is probably going to the event. If you've never been, and nobody really close to you is going, you still know somebody that's going to be down there. Right. And find out where they're camping and just post up next to them, or near them so that you can at least have a friend or know somebody around.
That's what Austin did the first night.
Austin didn't know anybody. He was just walking around to promote Irate 4x4 and then walked into our campground and then came back like the next 3 days in a row and didn't go anywhere else.
Yeah. I was gonna say he walked in, then just never left.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Went and bunked with Jason.
I don't know where did Austin and Jason go? I don't know. They went into Jason's camper to drink whiskey, air quotes.
I heard the carbon monoxide alarm going off earlier.
Nah, just kidding, Austin. Not really, Jason.
Oh man. Yeah, no, it's always a good time down there. And we get a little giddy about it because it's a really fun event, really fun atmosphere. It's definitely not something that I would do often, but doing once a year, I really enjoy.
Yeah, I'm glad it's only once a year. Yeah. But I have my events that I'm trying to get to this year, and King of the Hammers isn't going to be one of them, unfortunately, this year.
Yeah. Well, cool,
Maybe
man.
It's a once every 2 years thing for me.
Yeah. Well, now that you get gout, that would suck to have gout down there.
It would.
So
yeah, it definitely would. I would have to drink a lot more water and less whiskey.
Yeah. Well, cool, man. I think that's a good kind of list of some what were we saying? Non-regular items.
Yeah.
That you wouldn't probably necessarily think about bringing down to KOH if you're heading down, but some things to kind of keep in mind, keep in the back of your head as you're packing, maybe start some conversations with buddies about what are some interesting things they make sure they pack each year that they've learned. Some of the veterans that have been going down there for years and years and years, what are their staple things that they bring? Could be fun to kind of ask them and pick their brains too. So cool, man. If people want to get a hold of us and let us know any of their items, how would they do that?
Yeah, we said it just a hair earlier, but you can phone in 916-345-4744. You can email us, Jimmy or Tyler at snailtrail4x4.com, or you can find us on Instagram. I'm over at snailtrail4x4. Tyler's over at 4x4 Toyota.
Awesome. And so with that, Jimmy Hammers Jet, any last words for everybody out there?
Yeah, I'm going to take one from the Wheeling Wine and Whiskey guys because they had a good suggestion one year. But change your cell phone's home screen to a phone number to somebody that is not on the lake bed. So just in case you do lose your phone, which I hope your phone's not your main purpose of being down at King of the Hammers. But in case you do lose your phone and they call somebody, they can see the number on the phone, call somebody and say, hey, I found this phone. And then hopefully that person goes, oh, that's so-and-so's phone.
Yeah.
We can work on getting it to you. So
nice. That's a really good one.
Screen.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Cool. I like that. That's a good one. And with that, my friends, keep crawling. Jimmy Jet, do you have a joke today?
I do.
Ooh, go figure. Must have got lucky.
Yeah. Why did the old man fall into the well?
I don't know.
Because he couldn't see that well.
Okay.